medium, 2 topping pizzas, and a 2-liter soda, only $69. 2 large, 2 topping pizzas, and a 2-liter soda, only $92. Oh, and the big one, baby. Free large pizza every Tuesday with your favorite 2 for Tuesday special. So, come on down or call and order now and experience our tasty oven-baked goodness. Domino's, the home of satisfaction.
Wow, call Domino's now.
This message brought to you by ZIZ and the Fire Department of St. Kitts and Nevis.
I am Woman Fire Officer Louise Clark from the St. Kitts Nevis Fire and Rescue Services with your safety tip for today. Keep items that can catch on fire at least 3 feet away from anything that gets hot, such as space heaters. Smoking materials can cause residential fire death. If you smoke, take precautions. Smoke outside. Choose fire-safe cigarettes. Never smoke in bed, when drowsy or medicated, or if anyone in the home is using oxygen.
This message was brought to you by ZIZ and the St. Kitts Nevis Fire Department.
Good morning once again and welcome back to the morning show and welcome to our conversation, our Fire Talk conversation, keeping you informed with what Fire and Rescue Services are doing here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I have Mr. Hodge and Mr. Clark in the studio with me. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, JQ, and good morning to the listening audience.
And our viewing audience as well. Yes, the show is being streamed as well. So let's say good morning to those also. We're continuing our conversation from last week as it relates to wildland fires. Yes, wildland. That eluded me for a minute there. Wildland fires. We covered a lot last week in terms of fighting the fire. Protection during fighting the fire, how you plan your firefighting strategies as well. A lot was covered last week, but we're going to continue continue the conversation this morning with our goal this morning to bring some more awareness to why you shouldn't start wildland fires. Mr. Hodge, you're going to start this morning, or Mr. Clark, you're going to kick the ball off?
I'll let Mr. Clark kick it off.
Okay, Mr. Hodge, thank you very much for this opportunity every week. Starting it off. I welcome that.
I like to follow his lead, man. Where he leads, I follow.
That's a good leader. So yes, GQ, yes, once again, thank you for having us here.
You're welcome.
Yes, I love this program, and as I say, keep stopping me and telling us how they love the program and should keep it up.
That's good.
So I was asking for the person. We want these conversations to be more interactive. So it's not that we're talking to the people. We want person to talk to us and with us. So that's how we can learn from them, and they can learn from us, and we can share ideas, so we can make the St. Kitts and Nevis more safer for the persons. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's pick up my good friend Valon, down there in Trafalgar Village. Yes. Continuous listen on a regular basis, and I hope he can call in and share any of his experience. He's one who moving the culture of masquerade to another level. He has been doing it since I know him. I think I've known him for almost 40 years.
Wow.
I grew up in Trafalgar.
Right.
And he's still continuing the culture, so that is very good.
And he ain't agent, eh?
He's not agent.
Yeah, he looks himself.
And I really want to congratulate the person who took the initiative to name the road after him.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I grew up on right there.
Yes.
So kudos to Valon and the other person, the viewing and listening audience. So basically last week we touched on wildland fires, and remember we spoke about in order for these fire to start, we are now going into the fire season, the dry season. So the temperature has to be high. You must have high temperature, low humidity, little rainfall, like you're experiencing right now, dry vegetation, that means dry grass, dry trees, dry logs, and then most of all, wind. We have all the combination presently, right now, on the outside. So if persons cease and desist from taking upon themselves without seeking the advice or the permission from the Fire and Rescue Services, know that we are undergoing this kind of condition. We are in for some deep problems. But we are trained, we are fully equipped, we are knowledgeable. So once we go out there, we'll be able to efficiently and effectively put out these fires. But as we go into the conversation now, remember last week Mr. Hart spoke about the change of wind direction. Very, very important in Ajiko. Because we are fighting a fire. Let's say the wind is blowing from east to west. Our backs are going to be against the wind. So we are facing west. And remember we spoke about fuel moisture content. That means the grass are green and they're full of moisture. But let's say on the westerly, right in front of the fire, the head of the fire, there is this vegetation, green vegetation. Slightly off to the north, we have dry vegetation. What is going to happen? The fire might not be able to effectively put out or reach the green vegetation because the moisture content is so much. So it's going to lead now, we spoke about the flanks and the fingers, it's going to go to the dry vegetation.
Right.
And if that wind direction is to change, and the fire officers and the safety officer, who is the supervisor, is not vigilant, something might happen. Either going to lose life or injured person, or the fire appliance might or may be destroyed.
Wow.
So in person think they can just light and just turn off and don't have any knowledge, or just light off because I want my land to clear. That's how I think about themselves, selfishness. Think about the firefighters who are responding. We need to go back home to our families, you know, to our children and husbands and wives are looking for us, hopefully, but that's another topic. So, so what we are saying here now, because we are in a dry season, right? Wildland fires are uncontrolled. They just, once they have the fuel, the heat, and the oxygen, full blaze. Full blaze. Anything in the path will be destroyed.
Right.
Okay? How do they spread? Once a fire starts, it can rapidly spread depending on the fuel, weather, and topography. There's where we ended last week. We should have continued based on the topography. Topography, right? Right. You gotta give us some homework. I don't know if you want to touch on that. You went into the to how you asked a question last week about how fires can start without person, the human element. I should have tried it out to the general public. We call that spontaneous combustion.
Right.
Because what is happening, if we have certain materials that generates heat quicker than the heat is being given off, they stay and generate over time. They start to break down, making them more susceptible to heat. And once they stay in that area and they get the continuous amount of heat, right there, we have spontaneous combustion. Okay? It can happen in so many ways. Some people don't believe it. I don't know if Mr. Hart believe in it.
Well, I have seen it happen.
You have seen it happen?
So because
Okay.
I've been on fire scenes where we are putting out one area of the fire and you just see the fire light up in another area where no one at all is not in the direction where the wind is blowing either. What I know can happen is where there are broken bottles in the fields, even a whole bottle. If the sun is catching it properly and it's in an area of dry grass, it acts as a magnet where it magnifies the heat in this case and it just lights the grass off.
Right.
I don't know if you had days, GQ, of using a magnifying glass and putting it on somebody's skin.
Science.
Well, I didn't venture that far because I'm not a fighter, but I did the paper. And I did other materials, and
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking
Same
about.
concept.
It's the same, same effect it has with
Well,
the
he want
bottles
one
and
of people though.
yeah.
And
But-
that, yeah, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr.
And that in itself is dangerous because when we arrive at the scene, the supervisor will size up the scene.
Right.
So if we just see one patch of grass is burning there, we're going to focus on that. But as Mr. Hart said, because the place is so heated, areas out in the outskirts of the perimeter of the fire that we are dealing with, fire just starts one time. So we have to be vigilant out that hit the next area. But the fire truck now, we have to move with the fire truck at times. And at times we have our fire hoses lay out in the field. So when the fire, imagine we out in fire and fire start behind us and burn that hose. No water. And the wind direction change on us.
Yeah.
We are in problems.
Yes. Yes.
We are in problems.
Man problem, material problem, everything.
Yes.
Everything. Before you continue, I just want to indicate to the public, if they have an experience or a question or a concern, they can call 465-2555, right? That's 465-2555. Continue.
Topography, yes, can also promote or inhibit fire behavior. For instance, fire tends to move quicker uphill than downhill. Just look at it. The uphill sprint is particularly because heat given off from the fire raises up the slope and preheats vegetation, as I said last week. Preheat them, so when dry out the moisture, so when the fire do reach, it's easy flowing.
And a good example, a real-time example of that is a match. When you light a match, if you put it up, it doesn't burn as fast as if you turn the head down. It runs straight up the matchstick.
Hold on there. Put on your headphone there, my brother.
It's
I'll
only
get you.
one.
I'll get you another one.
Yes,
Yes, sir. Good morning, your life.
Yeah, this morning, Victor, a good program. But yesterday afternoon, when I reached home, somebody light fire over depot, and all over smoking, and the fire took them, they work hard to get it down.
Over where?
Yeah, over depot. But the fire truck, they work hard to get it down. Thank them.
When you say the port, the officers he
Oh,
trying.
by Ross. Depot, by Ross.
Oh,
The
by Ross.
upper Ross. Yeah, it's depot. Right in.
Thank you so much, Casilda.
Okay.
And those fires over by us, I had so much experience because we have the sea and the wind coming off of the sea, and we still have the wind moving from east to west.
Yeah.
So we up there like fire moving this direction, we go that direction, fire, the wind move, the wind shift. One little confusion on that hill up there, Jicky.
Good morning, you're live.
Yes, Jacob.
Yes, man, go ahead.
And you great firemen them.
Yeah, man, they're listening.
Yeah. I know Wallen too, Wallen's my friend. Now, Jacob. Hello.
Yeah, man, we're listening.
Yeah, listen. There is an old time saying, say that you cannot fight fire with fire. Well, on Buckley's estate, when I was a little boy, and certain cane field burning, what the outers them, the cutters them used to do, they go to the tail end of the cane field where the wind blowing going, and they light from that end, so that end burn go back to meet the fire that's coming from the east. So they go in the west and they light the end of the cane field there. So it burn go inside. So when the two blazes clash in the middle, they're just out. That's one way they used to do it. And when I was a little boy in school, they taught us in Africa, when there wasn't any matches, what they used to do to light fire, they would get 2 pieces of dry limb off a tree, scrape off the bark, and they would rub those 2 dry sticks together for a length of time until they get hot to a certain climate temperature, and then they just put them on the whatever dry bush and they get fire. I don't know if you guys know about that. So those things they can cause fire to 2 dry trees rubbing all day without bark, they could catch a fire. Okay then, thanks.
Yes, man. Thanks for sharing. Do you agree with Culture and his findings?
Yes, I really do agree with him. The first experience he spoke about We call it backlighting.
Indirect.
And it's a technique we still use presently in the fire department.
Right.
But back then, where we had the sugar cane, there were distinct roads between the field. Because we don't have the cane now, most of the time everything grows together. And where we have that problem of these big fields is more in the Kim Collins Highway area and over in the Cannery area, where there are just endless of fields burning. We don't even have enough hose to go from one side to the next. And it is very, very difficult. And you know, I would like to share an experience what I personally had down in the Ross area, because you know, persons have to be mindful that even though they feel that they light a fire and it's safe, fires do get away. And some years ago, GQ, a fire got away from somebody yard up there. And while we got there as a fire department, how the fire was running is a lot of houses. Because sometimes the vegetation is hard to control. And persons just tend to control just around their property at times. And, you know, we got there was this wooden house far up in the hill. And a lady was up there and the fire going to her. The truck was dealing with 3 houses. I was at the wooden one. And boy, it was an experience. I feel I could have cut down a whole cane field by myself that day. I would just grab a machete and start to lick down trees from around here. And that was done in order to save the house. The fire actually reached on the house, but because the fuel wasn't that much on
Vegetation.
yeah, we were able to put it out right away. So persons lighting these fires, please be mindful of not only your property, but you could be destroying other person's property.
Duly noted, my friend.
Yeah,
Duly
the
noted.
lady was in such a shock. I speaking to her like she dazed, she can't respond because she's seeing she house. Go and leave her. That's all she got and everything she got in it.
Yeah, man, that's her home right there. Can't blame her. Can't blame her. It's not a situation anyone would like to be in. You know, losing your hard-earned, you know, what you work for all these years, just go up in flames just like that. So I'm happy that you were able to assist and help that lady out. You know.
Yes.
465-2555. If you have a concern or a question or maybe even a recommendation as it relates to dealing with these wildland fires, this conversation this morning is geared at or aimed at, if I can put it that way, to help curtail and bring some more awareness as to why you shouldn't be lighting fires on your own. Yes, you might feel that you're educated enough and you understand what's going on, but we don't have a control over the weather and dynamics involved. So you might have one concept in mind and that concept, you know, run away with you. And then you have a situation at hand. So for the people who are doing this, I know you said many times you should call and contact the fire department many times, and I don't think that message is getting out enough. Is there a cost? Let's start there. Maybe if we start tackling the issues why people are not calling, maybe we can help get the calls coming in. Is there a cost to calling the fire department if I just want to burn some fires in the back, burn some things in the back of the yard? Is there a cost? Is there a cost when I have a farm and I want us to burn some things? Is there a cost?
Well, GQ, honestly, no, there is not a cost. But for some years now, the fire department has not been giving anybody permission to burn. It's a health issue. It's a nuisance to some, especially according to the area that you live in. If you live in a built-up, populated area.
Remember your point. Let's take this call. Okay. Good morning, you're live.
Hey, good morning, Ricky. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Wonderful. And to the fire officers that are here?
They're doing well.
Now, the question I have to ask is, what's the relationship between somebody like Rhodes of Public Works and the Fire Department. The reason why I ask this is that the gentleman, one of the fire officers just speak about Kim Collins Highway on that other side, the eastern side, when you have fire, it will be a big disaster. Now there is something which called preventative measures. You would not be able to stop a fire if someone light it, but there are ways in which you can minimize it. And it simply means by liaising with Public Works and put some fire breaks or roads or somebody who have those heavy equipment, put some fire breaks. And what's the fire break? You would cut some road through, like you divide that area in section, that you find you have an open area, so just in case a fire break out in that area, it doesn't spread like we would say a wildfire, because there will be a fire break that someone could go through and they could control it from there. But let us look at it right now. And for heaven's sake, the weather get dry and a fire break out over there, you realize that whole area, even around the pump, is going to be ablaze because it doesn't have any section that the fire cuts off. Have a nice day.
Yes, man. You too. Gentlemen.
All right. Thank you, caller. Thank you for your call. And this suggestion is a great one. This was done, I think it's about 2-3 years ago. But because the roads are they were not being traversed as much, the vegetation would have grown back up. Because some of the roads persons do use, but some is just there. And I think, as I say, it's a good suggestion. It's something that I can speak to the chief or deputy about and have them contact Public Works. The relationship with them is a very good one as well. We work hand in hand on certain projects.
Maybe as well.
Yes.
Thank you so much for calling. Now, the real question at hand for me is, people will have things to burn. So, you're not encouraging it, but what's the next option?
The next option is to take them to the dump. Well, to the landfill, sorry.
Okay.
To the landfill. And that is where the cost actually comes in. Because to move the waste from where they are, sometimes the area is difficult. It's out of the way for some, well, most of the farmers, that is. But generally in the built-up areas, persons just want to take some garbage that the garbage truck may not be collecting. They might get an old chair and walk out by me paying a truck man to try it where I'm going to burn it in my yard. It can't be right. Solid waste have a very small charge for the fee for actually putting in stuff, but the extra cost is from the trucking. And he got some reasonable truck man out there. You could try get somebody, you could shop around, because I don't think you just run into the Chinese and pick up everything. You check the other supermarkets and see, you know, this for that price and that for that price and things. You could shop around and see the best way to spend your money and to get rid of the thing without getting into any issues with the law. Because as I said, for now, the issue is a nuisance. You're basically disturbing the peace. That's a charge under the Small Charges Act, where you could actually that could be laid against you for lighting those fires.
I know this is not the program for it, but I just want to put it out there. You do trucking as well, right? I'll advertise for him. I don't have him now to do some work for me, you know? So, looking for a call for me real soon, my friend.
Hi, Chico, thank you much. And then also the fire department soon and very soon would be ticketing persons, because what we realize, there are persons who maybe once, twice in a specific month you would have to be going to their property because they're just choosing to light fires without any permission, without any regards to the neighbors or anything.
Do you have an idea what the fine will be?
It's not set as yet, but it's somewhere around $500, I think it was, Clark.
And up.
Yes.
$500 and up, yeah, right.
So it's cheaper. It would be actually cheaper to get somebody to haul the waste away, take it to the landfill,
than to be fined.
than to be ticketed.
Right. Gentlemen, we just have about 4 more minutes left inside of the program. I know, again, the goal is to bring some awareness as to why you shouldn't be burning, taking the chance to burn on your own. We've said it over and over. We've given many reasons as to what can happen. You might just see it as a fire, some wildland fire, but, it can get out of hand, and it can not only affect the people around that area, but it can also have an effect on the firefighters as well. We made an example last week if a firefighter get caught in a backdraft. That's what it's called, right? A backdraft? Or when they...
Backburn, maybe.
Backburn, right. When the fire is backburn. And you said the best thing is to do is to run straight through the fire. I was surprised you said that, I wasn't even thinking about that. And then get to the area where...
Which is unburned, yes.
Where it's on... Well, has been burned.
Yes, the black, as we call it.
Yeah. So it is a risk involved. So it's not just, burning fires. It's what can happen afterwards. Gentlemen, thank you. I'll let you wrap up or make your last point, if any.
And yes, something to think about. Let's go back to that Kim Collins Highway. When the grass up there burn, there are a number of... There's the Seventh-day Adventist school, there's the Newtown Primary School. There are a number of daycares in the area over there as well. It greatly affects some of the children, and I've known of instances where, because there's a fire over there, the schools have to close. Now, if you close a primary school, sometimes parents have to leave work. And your action, you may not see, but it affects a lot of persons.
Creating inconvenience as well.
I mean, you don't want to change, just put up your nice curtains on Sunday and by the smoky bad, you gotta change them again. You gotta clean down them windows again. The ash get in the house, you gotta change the bedspread, and a lot of things. You need to be considerate to the community, not just to yourself, because you might like the fire upon the side of your yard, which part it smoke now and affect you, and then you run in going, and it's the rest of the community got it to deal with.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge. Mr. Clark?
Yes, Rico, once again, I want to thank you for this very informative, having us here to discuss matters as relates to fire safety and the way in which fire behaves. Something I plan to throw out, with Mr. Hodge's permission, thinking about having a discussion on ventilation next week.
Okay.
The systematic removal of heated air and fire gases from a structure, replacing it with cooler air.
Okay.
So persons can go out and go ventilation, ventilation. We have the do's, the don'ts, the advantages, disadvantages, the whys.
Okay.
Right? Because look at it very carefully. We say that 3 components to start a fire: heat, oxygen, and fuel, wind. But we are now saying we want that same wind to assist us with the removal of the heated air and replace it with cooler air. So the question is, aren't you going to spread the fire?
Yeah.
Never. We will teach you that next week. So do your research. Come, let's have a discussion, and we'll have a more interactive and dialogue discussion with the general public and how we can save lives and property and ensure these persons are safe as members of the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire Rescue Services. So thank you once more, and tune in next week, and hope to have more persons calling in and tuning in to listen to our talk show here on ZSZ with GQ. Thank you.
This message brought to you by ZIZ and the Fire Department of St. Kitts and Nevis.
I am Woman Fire Officer Louise Clark from the St. Kitts Nevis Fire and Rescue Services with your safety tip for today. Keep items that can catch on fire at least 3 feet away from anything that gets hot, such as space heaters. Smoking materials can cause residential fire death. If you smoke, take precautions. Smoke outside. Choose fire-safe cigarettes. Never smoke in bed, when drowsy or medicated, or if anyone in the home is using oxygen.
This message was brought to you by ZIZ and the St. Kitts Nevis Fire Department.